Are you ready to finally experience the financial freedom you've been dreaming about? I know with the way inflation has made the cost of living go up, it's very easy to be discouraged and feel like money is running out. It's not by accident that you're listening to this. Hi, I'm Jasmine Bridges, and welcome to the Money Goddess podcast. I show you how to manifest money on autopilot using practical strategies and biblical principles. By doing this, you'll develop an abundant mindset where you rely on the power of God and not the ups and downs of the world. Invest in your mental diet by tuning in to the podcast weekly on the station, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify. Podcast. I am your host, Jasmine Thomas-Bridges, and I am so excited to have the opportunity to share with you all more information on how to live like the ultra rich or even the wealthy while being on a budget. So I will say this, when I was in college, I always got the most compliments on my clothes, on my hair, and even now, the clothes that I wear, truth be told, and I don't share this a lot, but I actually get most of my clothing from lower end retail stores. Don't get me wrong. I don't mind a little luxury, but I really look for comfort and making sure that, it fits and it feels good to me and it looks good. But I am not big into expenses, but I always look expensive. And that is something that I have mastered over my lifespan. And I also recognize that some people don't realize that less is more. You don't have to have a ton of money in order to look good, in order to, do whatever it is you want to do. You can do things reasonably. However, as you do these things, recognize that you are progressing to another level of wealth. So, these steps that I'm going to share with you on how to live in this rich way is going to actually allow you the opportunity to propel yourself into the ultra rich. So these are some secrets that I have kind of been hiding a little bit. Some of them are in my Money Honey course. You can go to shesworthy.org to check them out, or any of my other products. You can find me on Etsy. Money Honey Hive is where I am at. So let's dig into how you can live this life. Number one, I need you to develop a strong relationship with money. A lot of people always want to get to a certain point. They always say, oh, I want to make millions of dollars. I want to be super rich. But you actually don't even like money. Let me give you an example. If you hit the lottery, you don't even know what you would do with the money. If when someone offers you money, you push it away. Like if someone's trying to pay for your dinner, oh no, don't worry about it. I don't need it, right? You may not have the best relationship with your money just yet, but you can develop that relationship. Welcome, welcome everyone who is tuning in. I hope you all are doing well. So listen up. You can change your relationship with money. I want you to see money as your friend, not an enemy. I want to be very clear. Money got this bad rep around like the historical church times. I would say probably between the 700s to 1500s. And we still kind of have those ideas today. And you'll notice that what happened was when we transitioned into a more civilized society, it was almost deemed as if you were rich, you were bad. And the reason why they developed this type of mindset is because they wanted the people who actually were rich to stay rich and be in charge. There was no one who could get into, how could I say this? There's no one that could get in their field, right? If they were always protecting their wealth and everyone else was poor, where do you all think all the money went? It went to those rulers who were in charge. And so we still have this idea of always having a ruler, and they said that the ruler was God. So you would pay your tithes, give everything to the church, right? But the truth of the matter is that that was a way to keep people in bondage. And these ideas are leaving our paradigm. So if you all didn't know, we are actually in the age of Aquarius, with Aquarius being in Pluto. And what that means is you're going to see this innovative way where we are spreading the wealth. We are taking care of others. We will see that there won't be this pyramid of people at the top. We're all eventually going to have some equalizing that takes place. And so now that this paradigm is coming into play, you all, including myself, will be able to live a life of wealth untold. Now, I think present day, even in our modern society, we do have wealth pieces, but it's going to get better and better as the years go on. Now, I do want you to think about it specifically because I'm speaking to my ladies in this episode. In those historical times, women specifically were always taken care of, whether by God, well, not whether by, God is always the source, and man. So I want you to think, when you see women that have always been taken care of, it really helps to set the tone and let you know that there is something precious about a woman being taken care of. And I'm going to talk like kind of deeper into that feminine energy and what that looks like. But as you develop that relationship with money, think about those prehistoric times when you go way back. There weren't full-time jobs. People lived off the land. They didn't have to worry about paying bills or anything of that sort. And so that's something that you can also dig into as well to determine where things kind of went wrong. Now, I want to share with you my view of money. I usually go to Ecclesiastes 10:19. It says, "A party gives laughter, wine gives happiness, and money gives everything." Now, this is typically not a verse that people share as much. I believe the first time I ever heard that was from T.D. Jakes. And remember, Ecclesiastes was written by Solomon. And so with that, there are so many opportunities for you to recognize Solomon was wealthy. He had it all, and he had so much wisdom and things to learn about. What's beautiful about this is that you can take that and recognize that money basically gives you access into doors. It allows you to be in certain circles. Now, money is not everything, but it answers a lot of the problems that we may have. So that's why it's important for you to develop that strong relationship. So I view money as the divine masculine who takes good care of me. Because I view it like that, now I'm going to go into my second way that you can live that rich girl lifestyle with the broke budget. Start to trust God to supply all of your needs. So I have another scripture for you that you can go back to for inspiration, to help you get your faith up. "Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your request to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. So, as we're focusing on trusting God to supply our needs, I want you to think about why you don't trust God to supply your needs. And this is how you know you don't trust, because you worry. And I have done this myself, and it is something I have to overcome. Even though I have made more and more and more money as time has gone on, I still find myself lacking that trust. First of all, to be honest, our society and the things that are going on in the world is not built for you to have that positive mindset and trust in God. It is built for you to be concerned all the time, to worry, to be frazzled. I want you to remember this about anxiety. Anxiety divides your mind. So even if you have opportunities in front of you to be super successful, when you are anxious, your mind cannot clearly help you manifest those things. That's why it's so important for you to take the time to really calm yourself and center through, whether it's prayer, if it is making sure that your nervous system is regulated, which I talk about that a lot on my channel. That is going to help you experience that peace of God. So you can share your request, but you also, in return, you're going to get that peace. And if it is in alignment with the will of God, you will receive what it is you ask for. So in trusting in God, I want to help you energetically. I want you to focus on being in the divine feminine energy. That is what I know to be true for myself, has helped me to manifest money miracles. When I am in that energy, I am Mother Goddess. So I know this does not get talked about a lot because we live in a patriarchal society, but if we're made in the image of God, they say God is neither male nor female, but I personally don't believe that. I believe that there is Father God and Mother Goddess. And both of them show us how to manifest money and or receive money. So let me give you an example. With Mother Goddess, she is relaxed. She's receptive. She just gets to be herself. And you know what Father God does? He looks at her. And remember, this is all energy. I'm not talking about gender specific. But Father God looks at Mother Goddess and says, oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. She's so the essence, right? Mother Goddess is polarizing. She's not running around hustling all day, trying to make something happen. She just is. And Father God wants to provide for her. I have even learned in my own marriage, the more that I relax and are ready to receive, the more my husband shows up. But you have to give God room to do this. Now, I want you to look and see, where in your life are you stressing out about money? What is it? Is it that you have certain things you want to pay for? Are you finding yourself overspending? Maybe you're not budgeting properly. Maybe it's that you haven't been able to bring in more streams of income and have it consistent. Look and see where you're stressing out. And then I want you to dig into your childhood wounds and seek healing. In our childhood, we can typically see that's where we have our patterns with money. So I know specifically for me, my father passed away when I was 9 years old, and my mom basically became a single mom of my sister and I. And so my mom always had like 2 or 3, jobs, and she didn't really make a whole lot of money as is. And I've shared this. She only made about a 10K yearly salary. So even though she tried to kind of, well, not tried, she gave my sister and I an amazing life. what I really, really see with my mom is that she was truly always in a masculine position. I didn't get to really see her in the feminine. And so when I did have my son, it was very difficult for me to relax because and I remember my husband saying this, like, you have me, you have me. And I understood that physically, like he was there and he did everything to help. But mentally and subconsciously, I was reliving as my mother. And I was in hustle mode. I was like, let's go get it. I, I literally was just like moving as if I was a single mother, which was crazy because I had and still have way more than my mother, both of my parents, anyone, in my ancestral lineage had. But I still was struggling because that was a mindset thing. So I want you to think about your childhood and think about your ancestors. How did they live? Truth be told, no one in my ancestral lineage had a great marriage. None of them, a lot of them were single mothers. Yeah, now that I sit and I think about it. And it made me realize how much more I have to go harder on relaxing and receiving. That means I probably don't need to work in a way that most women work. I need to maneuver in a different way because I need to make room for me to be provided for. Now, I want you to do that. If you have some time to get your journal out, really dig deep because this actually stops us from trusting God with all of our needs because we're trying to take control of it ourselves. Now, the next thing to live that rich girl life, and I just want you guys to know, I'm not sharing like very materialistic things. I'm sharing with you the deep energy things that are going to change your life, and it changes the external. You can thank me later. This is good. All right, so here we go. The third thing you can do is manifest through your 8th house of abundance. Now, if you don't know much about astrology, your eighth house is that scorpionic energy. Now, Scorpios tend to deal with other people's money. That looks like inheritances, manifesting through people. It's also those taboo subjects with which money is a taboo subject. And you can also work through transformation or change. So I would encourage you to look at any of your astrological placements, see where you have that 8th house energy. When you go, you can actually go to CoStar. If you don't know yours, CoStar is a great place to find out any of your chart placements. You may have some 8th house energy there. I actually do. Now, if you don't have that 8th house energy, that does not mean you cannot cultivate it. So your different okay, so I do have someone here in the chat. I do see every single person, but I am going on my notes. I've already said hi to everyone, and I'll say hi again. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Okay, moving forward. I have the CoStar chart, and it is very, very helpful. So I highly recommend you take the time to look at that. And if you're not able to go in and see anything for the Scorpio, you actually might want to channel that energy. So just learn about Scorpio, and it's really, really going to be able to help you be more in that energy where you can get whatever it is that you desire. So in manifesting, I also found it is very easy for me to manifest through my husband. Now, before I was ever married, I still manifested through my 8th house. And I'll talk about that a little bit more when I talk about random checks in the mail. But in manifesting through my husband, I was able to help him to get like raises, promotions, bonuses. I never told him that, but I was able to do it. And I know some people in the past, when I've shared this, they're like, oh, I don't have a spouse, or my spouse wouldn't give me any money. Well, you have to ask yourself why. Why? Why are you only getting money or not getting money from that specific person? What is it that this person is selfish and doesn't want to share? Or is it that you don't have that light within you that shows you want to be provided for, right? You have to clean up your energy, because if you're in your divine feminine energy, first of all, you're not even going to attract somebody that doesn't want to provide for you. That is wild, right? When you have that divine energy and you have that light, it's almost inevitable that you're going to have someone want to do things for you. That is just a natural thing. So the next thing that you're going to want to look at is considering what I would recommend, calling in random checks in the mail. So this is like my probably most fun manifestation. So truth be told, I always get random checks in the mail, whether it's deposits or if it's like settlements. So I have been randomly a part of so many different settlements that have happened, and it is insane that it just comes through. Like, I'll look and there'll be $25 sitting in PayPal or $10 on Cash App, just random things all the time. And it's because I'm open. Now, a lot of you all are probably more so prone to saying, oh, I only get money through my job, or I only get money through my business. Well, I'm the total opposite. Yes, I can get money through my contracts, my business, for sure. But I'm also open to money in any way possible, as long as everyone is safe and there is no harm to none. When you open yourself up like that, you will naturally create more streams of income, and you will be ready to receive that. Sometimes people don't open themselves to those different channels or streams of income because they feel like, oh, that wouldn't happen to me. Like, that's not realistic. Money is not realistic. You do understand that people literally print money and we don't even have it backed by anything. At this point, money is not even real. It's not a real thing. We have this digital thing now where we have people tell us how much money we have. We don't know if it's not, it's not real. It's just a currency. Okay? Currency is frequency. That's all that it is. The higher your frequency, the more that you can call in that currency. So I remember, because what would happen, and I've shared this, like, my husband has really started to work on his money mindset because he did not always have a positive one, right? He was good with money, but it was just like, I think it's more so he didn't have the faith or the belief in things that are kind of impossible. And I think it's also because he's an earth sign too, so that practicality is there. But I remember telling him at the top of 2022, I was like, we're going to get this big, huge check in the mail. And I kept telling him that all year long. And I don't know what made me like believe that. Like, there wasn't anything going on that I'd be like, oh yeah, we about to get a huge. No, I just said it. I was like, because that's me, right? I always just, if I just randomly think about something and that's what I want, I'm like, okay, I'm going to get it. Lo and behold, 3 days before Christmas, yeah, because it was the 22nd, and my husband actually had put in his resignation at his jobs, and he didn't have anything like lined up. We got that check in the mail. And he looked at me like, his mouth was wide, his eyes were big. He was like, I cannot believe that this happened. But I know it's because you can call those in. So let's say, for example, that you recognize, hey, I want to, maybe I need $200 to get something, right? And tap into that scorpionic energy. Call that check in, and it will find you, my loves. It will find you. Don't put a time frame on it, because I think that's what trips a lot of people up, is they always say like, oh, I need it by this date. I waited a whole year. Trust me, you'll be provided for. You'll be okay. It doesn't have to. I think sometimes people, when they manifest, they get into this mode where they are so focused on the manifestation coming in and when it's coming and what it's going to do for them, that they miss out on the opportunity of the divine. If we would have gotten that check earlier than the time that we did, I don't think that, truthfully, the gratitude would have been there at that time. That's my opinion. I think it came at the perfect time because he had just put in a resignation, and that was God saying, all right, here you go. Don't worry about anything. I got you. That manifestation, although it came through me, it was for him. And those are the things that have opened up my life, and I've been able to transform. And I really, really, really want you guys to see that this is a lot easier than you think. So I'm going to go over the next set of tips in the next part of the episode. Make sure you stay tuned, because these details are beyond amazing and are going to help you manifest so much more. In your manifestation journey of building six-figure plus wealth, you can use journaling to help you get there. If you would like, you can grab my Journal Your Way to 100K workbook at shesworthy.org/journal. And welcome back to the Money Goddess podcast. I am so excited about the second half of this episode, because I am going to be going through the next 5 pieces, actually it's 6 more tips for you to live that rich, abundant life, even if you have to do it on a budget. And in the first half, I really kind of dug into money mindset principles, and I'm going to do that as well and give you kind of some practical out in the world tips to really take you to that next level of that rich girl status. But listen, we don't have to, luxury in general doesn't have to be pricey. Luxury can be experiences, and you might even be able to get it at a different rate. So I'm going to talk about this and give you all the tips. So my 5th tip, you need to get exactly what it is that you want without regrets. What I have found is that a lot of people struggle with bringing in that rich energy because they have trouble with spending money. They don't feel good when they do it, or there's always some sort of a problem. And maybe either they feel like I'm overspending or I'm underspending. I'm just going to get the cheapest thing that's out there just because I don't want to go over budget, right? And what I want to do is help you to spend and feel good, because when you feel good spending, it is saying to the universe, to God, that you are abundant and that you are ready to receive more. So I want you to think about your spending as either an investment or you're circulating it. So first off, let me just say this. When you spend, do not let it be an impulsive decision. What I have found as well is people do this impulsive shopping. If it's like in the middle of the night or they're super stressed, you want to spend happily. You want to spend in a good state. So make sure that whenever you do have to spend, that you are keeping your energy clean and allowing yourself to enjoy the beauty of the purchase, because when you circulate or invest, you are implying that either you are doing some, well, actually both. You're doing something for someone else and you are building your ability to be able to get something back. Okay? So, let's say you want something, right? And let's pretend that it's something you just, you don't want to spend all that money, right? But you really want it. It is better for you to save up and get what it is that you want than to just buy whatever's out there and is at a lower price. That would make so much more sense for you. So keep that in mind. We don't want to put ourselves in position where we're just getting anything and not really finding the quality, finding the beauty in it. So I want you to think about it making you feel good when you get that purchase and feel proud of your decision. I will give you so many examples of this. So whenever I decided I wanted to begin podcasting, right? And I am so thankful for the opportunities that I have, but it all started with investing in an Amazon package where it had like the headphones, the microphone, like it was just everything built in one. And I think I spent about $70 or something like that. And that was, oh gosh, this podcast has been out now for 7 years. I spent $70 on it. And at that time, like that was a big investment because I didn't know what podcasting was going to be. I didn't think I would have a radio show and a TV show, but I saw that as an investment so that I could really build my brand and get what it is that I truly wanted and share my world with others and help other people. That was an investment for me and it felt so good. Now, another way you can look at your money is that circulation. Okay, circulation is different because that's an opportunity for you to give and pour into others. That doesn't mean that you don't see it as an investment, but you may also look at it as an opportunity to put into someone else's economy. So, when I go to the grocery store, yes, I'm investing in my family because I'm purchasing for them. But guys, those prices keep getting higher and higher. And it's very easy to be like, man, I'm so tired of this. I don't want to do this. You're not enjoying it anymore. What I do is I take a pause and I say, you know what? I am circulating money. When I shop, somebody gets paid. Whether it is an employee that gets paid, whether it is a business, if they do charitable contributions, they're using some of that money. That is how you can view it. Now, of course, there are some taboo things where people, you don't want to shop this way. You don't want to do that because you don't trust the organization, whatever. You to each his own. But for me, anytime I make that purchase, I recognize I'm circulating money. When you circulate money, that money gets to flow, gets to be free. Anytime you hold on to money so tightly and you never let it go, you don't want to spend, that causes stagnancy. That's why you're not able to live as that rich girl. Now, when I say circulate, please don't think I'm saying you got to spend hundreds and thousands of dollars to be rich, okay? Rich is an energy. So when you circulate and you're spending, even if it's just $1 that you spend, that is going to allow that money to move so that it can come back. So again, you want to view your spending as either an investment or you are circulating. Make sure when you go wherever you are, if you have to spend something today, that's what you want to think about. That's going to help you bring in more money. Now, another thing that I like to do, here's my 6th tip. Take baby steps towards your deepest desire. So I want to be honest with you. When I was first coming into the personal development world, there was all this talk about you have to dive in, you have to go deep. You need to make those big purchases. You got to do it now. That's the only way you're going to grow. And now that I am far removed from that, I disagree. Just because you go all in terms of financially on something doesn't mean you're going to get a return faster. Things do not happen overnight. It takes time to build. Give yourself that time to get the things that you want. An example of that is if you want to purchase a home, okay? You may not want to go out and take all of your savings to go get that house, because then you're like, well, what happens if there's an emergency? What you can do is build a savings that is constantly growing, constantly growing. Maybe it takes you 4 or 5 years to save up to get that home. So you have not only the money for the home, you have 6 months to a year of spending for expenses if something comes up. You don't have to rush. Don't allow society to rush and push your timeline out of what it is you really, really desire and want. Now, I want you to think about a small habit that you would like to create financially. So, or that requires finances. I just gave the example of a house. Let's say you even just want to save $1,000 for the year. So, when I was a teacher making 45K at the time each year, I decided I wanted to save I believe it was 5,000, but let's just say you want to do 1,000. I did this chart. I found it on Pinterest. I highly recommend you check out the charts that they have. And it started off for like $5 a week, $10 a week, 15, and it just grew for the year. And that was so much easier for me to save, as opposed to, okay, I'm getting this money and I'm gonna save like 20,000 and I'm never gonna touch it. I wasn't ready for that. Now, if I get a big, large amount of money, it doesn't bother me. It's not even there. I actually hide money from myself and I don't even realize it, right? Because I have that energy where I can still circulate and invest and not feel like I have to touch my savings. But take your time. You don't have to try to be and keep up with what everyone else is doing. There are levels to this. That's the rich girl. She knows her levels. She knows she may not be somewhere and she has the wisdom to get there. Okay. So it's, again, I do want to say this: sustainability is the new sexy. Sustainability is the new sexy. When I was in my 20s, I wanted everything fast. I wanted everything quick. Now that I'm in my 30s, I want everything slow because I want it to last. Always remember that. If you keep that in mind, you will always be rich. Again, that's an energy, not necessarily a monetary value. Here we go. Number 7. Find ways to get a discount for what you want. Some people think that getting discounts is like poor, which is so weird to me. Because really and truly, a discount on something is actually helping you save. Isn't that beneficial to save money? That's money you didn't have to spend, so it does help you. That is another form of manifestation. So I'm going to share with you some things that you can do. So let's say you are going on a vacation and you have your room. Listen, check to see if you can upgrade your hotel room. If you're going in, especially on a weekday, sometimes they have hotel rooms that are updated and they're pretty nice. And you can go in, you can get you a suite and you don't have to pay, or if you do, it's a very small fee. Even when you're flying, Sometimes there are first class seats available, especially if you have a flight that's not full. Check and see. Now, you do these things when you get there. Sometimes if you do it ahead of time, you might not get the discount. Again, if you don't want to worry about the discount, go ahead and upgrade before, right? Before you even get there. But if you want to wait, that's an option too. And it doesn't mean anything negative about you because you would like to have a discount. Some people think that you can't balance, right? There are some things, listen, I don't need a discount. I'm going to get it. And there are other things, nah, I'll take that discount. It's actually pretty good. It is up to you. Both can coexist. You don't have to be this person who's like, oh, I only buy this, I'm this all the time. You can have a balance and you can feel good about your purchases no matter what they are. And if you get free things, that counts too. Okay, so the eighth thing, I want you to be resourceful with what you have. A lot of us have more than we really think we do. It's very easy for us to go out and try to go shopping in another store, but we haven't shopped in our closet. I know for a fact I have so many clothes that still have price tags on them. That's why I'm very reluctant to go shopping before I check my closet. That's something that I would recommend you do is go into your closet, sit down or stand up, whatever you may, and just look and see, okay, what are pieces that can work together? What can I make into another outfit? And if you already have certain staple pieces, you might be able to use 5 different items and create, I don't know, 3 or 4 different outfits or looks. Consider styling, right? That's how you create those different outfits. And that is going to actually save you money because you're using what you have. Now, another thing is you want to see if something equivalent might work. So if you are not the most organized person, I think that's going to help you living that rich girl life because organization keeps you from going out and getting the same things over and over and over because you're like, oh, I don't know, I'm just going to grab something else. Oh, I don't know, I'm just going to grab something else. But if you're organized, keep not only just your closet, right, for clothing. Look at your products. Look at your food, all of those things. That's going to allow you to see what is what. And organization helps you to live a rich life in general. Why? Because you're making room for more. If you always have clutter and you don't keep things neat and tidy, it's saying, look, I'm a mess. My life is a mess. I don't have room for anything else. That's what it says to God in the universe. But you want to make sure that you are saying, this is my order and structure. I'm ready to receive more. I am in a clarity. I'm a state of mind in a mental space where I can receive. Okay, so let's go on to number 9, which I think is probably one of the biggest tips that is going to help you go to that next level. And that is step into the energy of a rich girly. What I have found is that when people hear rich, they are looking at this external lifestyle. And what I have found is that rich is an energy. Rich is a being, okay? And I also want to clarify there's a difference between being rich and being wealthy. Being wealthy is you are just financially well off, okay? Not only financially well off, I would also say wealthy is your well-being is there too in all ways. And that can include spiritually, mentally, emotionally, all the things. When I think of rich, I feel energy. Rich is I'm that girl. I got it. I got that paper. And when I think about paper, I'm not talking about just money. When I hear paper, it's that currency. Energy is currency. That is what you want to step into. As that rich girl, you just got it. You're not worried about money. You don't care, if someone else is not, wanting to do things a certain way because they're afraid. No, you are stepping out. You're making decisions. You look good. It doesn't have to be these expensive pieces. You just look rich. That's just who you are. That is the energy we want to think about. Now, what I'm going to do is recommend to you that you journal out that rich girl energy. So for me, my rich girl energy is, it depends on where I'm going and what I'm doing. But like right now, I personally feel rich. I feel the most rich when I have my hair in curls, when I have on this attire that like the styling, like I love these extra sleeves. I love to make sure I have some good jewelry in. That makes me feel rich. It makes me feel luscious. And that's why I'm like, listen, let me come on and do an episode because your girl is feeling herself. Okay. I want you to journal out using the 5 senses of the rich girl. What is that rich girl for you? How does she dress? Does she have a signature perfume that she wears? When people smell her, do they compliment her? Right? What is her aura like? What type of energy does she carry? How does she speak to herself and others? How is her hair styled? How does she pay for things, right? Is she feeling good when she pays for things? Stepping into that rich energy? What is her career and business? What is her income? Right? So when you start to think about all of those different things, it really allows you to decide who you want to be. Because again, being rich is an energy. And what will happen is you're going to start attracting more opportunities. Okay? Yes, I told you, this is a broke girl budget, but who wants to be a broke girl, right? I'm helping you step up into being not only rich, but creating wealth. Because I think that in order to get to wealth, that is also a rich feeling. That is an energy that you're ready to go towards. Okay, so the last tip that I have for you to step into that rich girl energy, listen, you need to rub shoulders with the rich, okay? Now, you can rub shoulders with the rich, but also the wealthy. And some people are both, right? Because again, rich is an energy, wealth is that money and that overall wellness, well-being. Go out, network. If there are opportunities for you to collaborate or be mentored by someone maybe that has more than you, and it doesn't have to just be money. It could be maybe they have the relationship that you would like to, aspire to having something similar one day. If it is fitness and they have the body that you would like, whoever can help and pour into you, that's going to help you rub shoulders with people who are where you would like to be. Don't be afraid of that. If you're always the big fish in the pond, you have an ego problem and you need to check that. I did not get to where I am today because my ego was too big and I wanted everyone else to be small. I don't care for that. That type of lifestyle, those type of people, I might talk to them because I'm a friendly person, but I can't have deep relationships because I'm always growing and evolving. And then when I grow past them, they don't want to be cool. You see what I'm saying? What we do is if you're that rich girl, you're not doing that. You're growing and expanding and you want to be around people who can pour into you. Of course, you want to help others, right? But you want to grow as well. I also, if you're going to those networking events, if you have a mentor, listen, something as simple as hanging out in luxury restaurants is a great idea. Look, they'll let you sit and have some water. Let's just say that you don't want to buy the meal, or even if you couldn't afford the meal at the time, right? Just go hang out. Even if there is a poolside or some type of rooftop where you can just go in and just sit, get into that energy, look at the people, see how they talk, see how they dress, see what they're saying. You will begin to feel that energy and it will help you to get to where you want to be. Now, I want to share my specific story of something that I used to do. I did this, I've actually done this a lot of times. I can't even count. But specifically, when my husband and I were on a break during our engagement, the neighborhood we currently live in, I came into the neighborhood, I would say at least 4 or 5 times within that period. And I would ride around and I'd be like, my husband and I are going to live here. Now, at that time, I wasn't thinking about him, but I was like, listen, I'm going to be somebody's wife. I already know this. I know that about me. I would ride around in the neighborhood. It's an affluent neighborhood. And I would just look at the houses. I'd be like, oh my gosh, we're going to do this. We're going to do that. You guys, I truly manifested it. Was that a year or two later? Had to be, because I think that was 18. 2 years later, I manifested it. The home we live in now, first of all, though this home didn't even exist. So I got more than what I even thought that we would get. Then, like, we're currently doing renovations. Like, it's insane to think about how things work when you get into that energy and environment. You don't have to know all of what's going to happen. And MLK's quote, you don't have to see the whole staircase to know where you're going step by step. It has to be like this. I need this plan. I got to do that. Just taking one step at a time, you're going to get up that staircase. And that's what this energy is with the rich girl. I don't want to say delusional, because people, I think, use that delusional word a little bit too much. But let me just say faith. Okay? Rich girls have faith in themselves and in their future and what they know that they can have and achieve. So if this was helpful for you, let me know down in the comments. You can certainly share this with your friend if they could use this. I really know that the things that I'm sharing online are really, really helpful to a lot of you. I would love for you to leave a review. What stood out for you? That is going to give so much value and get it out there to more and more people. Be sure to go to shesworthy.org if you want to do my Manifest $1,000 challenge. This is within 5 days. It is completely free. And I also have some paid courses. If you want to join in that collective energy, my Money Honey course is this signature course that you can check out. And you guys, I know if you're listening, whether on the radio, TV, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, stay tuned, subscribe, because this is going to change your lives. I love you all so much, and take care.